It's been a whole year since Horizon Forbidden West was released, and it's honestly hard to believe. It feels like this game has just come out every time I go back and play it because I'm always finding something new and awesome in every little nook and cranny. Always finding a new beautiful vista that I hadn't seen before, or finishing an intense fight that still blows me away after around 100 hours with the game. But now there's a whole new part to explore that actually is new, namely the Burning Shores DLC. If you know me, you'll know that I was not a fan of the Frozen Wilds DLC for the first game, so even though the trailers for Burning Shores hinted at one of the coolest boss fights ever and an extremely interesting area to explore, I was cautiously optimistic. I really did worry that this would be boring, disappointing, and a waste of $20, but now that I've played it to 92%, let's see if my worries were true, or if the hype hiding on the other side of my head was justified instead. What can I even say about a game like this? Horizon Zero Dawn was pretty, and then Forbidden West took it to a whole nother level with these lifelike, gorgeous areas all over the diverse map, incredible facial animations across this massive world, and the ability to fly and swim all over most of it, creating one of the most alive-feeling worlds to ever grace a video game. Burning Shores doesn't just go down the same path though, even though that would still make it look phenomenal. Instead, this DLC utilizes the full power of next-gen systems by being a PS5 exclusive. So let's see what the PS5 can pull off. Ooh. Whoa! What the fuck? Alright, so I suppose it really does make a difference. The look of these new tropical and volcanic areas is truly a sight to behold. The facial animations are even better, meaning that characters are always very expressive, and that's important for this DLC due to the story that we'll discuss later. The Burning Shores is a massive new frontier to dig into, around a quarter of the size of the base game's map if I'm not mistaken, yet they truly put every inch of it to use with the amazing shimmering waters, brand new clouds that honestly look 100% real, and breathtaking little details. You'll see creatures of steel and skin alike flying through the air, digging their claws into the sand and racing across the pumice whilst aglow in the orange light of the lava. It's a world where you can tell the developers have slaved over every little detail, and it does not go unnoticed. While playing, I'd get sucked in for hours, feeling so enraptured by my virtual surroundings that I may have occasionally forgotten about the real one right outside of my headphones. And speaking of headphones, my lord does the music here work well. They usually reuse songs from Forbidden West, however the final boss has an original theme that is nothing short of riveting and beautiful. It's sort of a more racing and rhythmic version of the main themes of the two base games, with its efficient use of their melodies and the beautiful chanting that these games are known for. But let's get into what matters most, shall we? The gameplay. Obviously, it's not too different from the base game, however, they've added a lot that I'd like to discuss. We have a few new machines, namely the Water Wing, Sting Spawn, Bilegut, and Horus. The Water Wing is both the worst and best of these in my opinion. They're extremely annoying to fight and kind of just an alternate version of the Sunwing, but you can ride them around and they have the incredible ability to fly high in the sky or dive underwater, which is something I've been waiting for all this time, since Aloy by herself is very slow whilst swimming. The Sting Spawn is a very basic though cool new machine that hatches from the eggs of what is, without a doubt, the star of the show, the Bilegut. Yes, Horus is the main one I want to talk about, but the Bilegut is an actual machine you can find in the wild and, in all honesty, a great one. The Bilegut jumps all around, tries to hit you with its sticky tongue, and shoots out eggs that'll hatch into other machines. It's an intense foe that will keep you on your toes, especially when in combination with its mechanical tadpoles. These machines are both awesome, and they're even better together, like peanut butter and jelly. And trust me, I know what I'm talking about here. I have a lot of experience with frogs. In fact, I even was one once. Horus is the final boss of the DLC, and it's absolutely epic in every considerable way. I was not disappointed due to the sheer scale, intensity, and, oddly enough, beauty of the battle. It wasn't as good as Spectre Prime from the base game in the first phase though, since it was slightly frustrating at points, but once you start getting into the horse's attack patterns, and especially in the final 2 phases of the fight, things get insane. This is one of the best boss fights in video game history, up there with Nidhogg from God of War Ragnarok and Mr. Freeze in Arkham City. So they certainly delivered, as they pretty much always do on the machines here, but they also added some great new mechanics. There are new weapons, of course, and one in particular is an absolute beast. The Zenith Gauntlet feels like a taste of the future of Horizon, with its awesome glide attack ability and the railgun fire that I certainly have started to use way too much. It's a powerful but still very reasonable and balanced weapon that doesn't break the game due to its slow charging. You can also now attack enemies that have fallen down with this awesome grapple attack, which adds a whole other layer to the existing dilemma between doing a critical hit or firing at a resonator blast. Now you have the option to get both, however your timing must be proper and you have to avoid getting swiped out of the air by another machine. They've also introduced some smaller, though still really cool elements, such as grappling onto and removing a vent, then grappling again to get inside, which is just a super cool animation, being able to pick up or remove stuff with the claws of your flying mount, or using these cool new geysers to go high in the air and gain the upper hand in battle, or reposition yourself in general. Some of these are underutilized, however most are used to great effect both in main missions, of which there are 5, and in side missions and activities, of which there are a lot more that require discussion. I think for $20, the side content of Burning Shores absolutely does its job, but let's see why I think that. First, we have 3 side missions, all of which are good to varying degrees. We have the absolutely phenomenal mission reuniting us with a minor character from the last game's DLC, which hits an emotional high at the end and honestly does a great job of showing us Aloy's character development. Just look at her attitude toward him in the Frozen Wilds versus now. It's very powerful. This is to be expected from the guy who was the main focus of the only great side mission in Frozen Wilds as well, and yet the other 2 missions here are also pretty effective. Wen tells an interesting mystery and establishes a bit more of a connection with Aloy and the settlement of Fleet's End, however, it leaves me wanting more. The quest itself is great, but it's the only part of the DLC that really makes you feel interested in the town, which leads me to want 1 or 2 more side missions to help progress that even further. I was expecting a whole quest line about this and the corrupt law enforcement within Fleet's End, but it's all resolved in 1 mission. Kinda jarring. Finally, there's a 3rd one that functions like a rebel outpost where you're clearing out human adversaries. It's not that great by itself, but it ends with you gaining access to the railgun feature on the Zenith Gauntlet, so I actually really love this part. In terms of the side activities, we have 1 new cauldron that makes great use of the new visuals, geyser mechanic, and sting spawn and bile gut enemies to keep things interesting, ending with a phenomenal boss fight. We also get a new relic ruin, which isn't as amazing as some of the ones from the base game, but it's still a fun time, though I wish it was a bit longer and more complex. There are new collectibles, such as the breathtaking aerial captures that allow you to take in the amazing graphics, as well as learn some more about how people felt in the final days of the old world, the Pangea figurines that have some clever puzzles behind them that require investigating your surroundings, and that also lead to a fun little quiz show at the end, and the Delver's trinkets, which get cryptic at some points, but make you feel like you're on a true treasure hunt, especially once you've collected all of the information across the map and actually find the treasure. All great stuff. However, there is one final bit of side content that I despise. I got to 92%, meaning I did everything except this. Now, I didn't mention this in my review of Forbidden West because I had only beaten the game and gotten to around 60% when I released that video, but the arena challenges were pretty annoying. I still don't think it hurts the base game at all though, since they were all relatively fun and challenging, though it took a lot of pain to beat some of them. But just like the hunting grounds, they remain mostly great and engaging. Burning Shores adds a new category to the arena for the toughest of the tough, and wow, I must say that it's just ridiculous. It's no longer challenging, it's idiotic. They put 4 Clamberjaws and 2 Bile Guts in this tiny little arena and expect you to beat them all in a few minutes. Hell, I can't even survive in here because both of these machines love nothing more than to jump all over the place like little brats. But when that's the only piece of side content I'm not a big fan of, you're doing something right. Burning Shores absolutely knocks it out of the park in terms of providing an interesting world full of clever missions and fun activities, even if it could have benefited from 1 or 2 more quests to flesh things out. Now, let's finish by talking about the story. We get some really heartfelt and beautiful conversations with Silence as bookends here, and the way it ends honestly gave me deep sorrow knowing that, due to Lance Reddick's tragic passing, this character will never appear in the franchise again, though the final conversation he has with Aloy really shows how far he's come and is a breathtaking, poetic final set of words for him to say that feel perfectly engineered to end off their relationship in a bittersweet way. There are also a lot of new characters, such as the brand new villain, who's probably Horizon's strongest human villain yet. He's an egotistical, maniacal, creepy, greedy, scummy piece of trash who aspires to create a new world with only the people who bow down to his power, even if it means burning everything down on the old one. It does a great job of critiquing those who refuse to stand up and fight for what we have, instead opting to give up and create their supposed paradise. Definitely not talking about this fella.
This guy is a really well-written villain, and he honestly shows off the social commentary of the Horizon series really well, and I think it's quite effective how they get you to just hate this guy. He's horrible. What's his name, though? Well, I'm offended. First Walter White and now this? How come I always share my name with these evil people? I mean, it's not like I'm evil too, right? Or am I? I was joking. Or was I?
Aside from him, we also have Seika, who is really the star of the show here outside of Aloy. In fact, she's very similar to Aloy and does a great job of being a worthy companion throughout. She honestly fills the void left by Varl and also more, creating a mirror for Aloy to look into. However, unlike Beta, a mirror who exposed her to her own flaws and made her more accepting of the mistakes made by others, Seika functions more as a way of showing Aloy her strengths and how they're not exclusive to her, furthering the absolutely masterful character development she had in the base game. She came from not wanting to accept help, not wishing assistance from anyone because she had been conditioned by her harsh environment, lacking acceptance, kindness, or cooperation to work alone. This is why Horizon Zero Dawn occupies itself with an uplifting underdog story, showing her losing everything yet becoming a well-renowned hero and incredible warrior nonetheless, disproving what everyone else thought about her. On the other hand, Horizon Forbidden West tackles the idea of this going to her head and making her believe that she not only must, but also can take on anything by herself, having her gradually realize the beauty of other people and look at saving the world as an objective not determined by destiny or expectations, but rather by the incredible people and places that it is home to. And now in Burning Shores, we see a further evolution of this with Seika, who's a great character. Not only does Aloy find true companionship here and learn more about herself by seeing someone so similar, but she also grows more of an understanding of the value that a people and a tribe can have, even if they reject you. Both Kylie Leah Page and Ashley Burch are phenomenal here, and Aloy's acting is honestly better here than in anything else. So much emotional depth and intensity in every scene. It's unbelievably good. And not to mention the truly great ending where they shake hands and say goodbye with Aloy realizing she has a great new friend and...
Oh no. Oh no. This is what everyone's going to be talking about from now on, isn't it? Well, you know what? I don't care. I think it actually makes a lot of sense for the character development, and I think it's a necessary step in the right direction for the story progression of the series. So, overall, I'm going to give Burning Shores a...
Hey, you. Wait a minute there. Did you hear about this propaganda?
I'm sorry, who are you? And how'd you get in my house? And why does this keep happening?
Listen, bucko, I'm Mr. Metacritic, and I'm here to warn you about this woke propaganda DLC. Before you go and do something crazy like judge it for something other than how diverse it is.
So, you mean to tell me that you're not a fan of this DLC? Well, it's not perfect, granted. There are some jarring glitches, and it could have had more in it, I think, but that doesn't make it bad by any means.
No, this DLC ain't just bad, it's horrible. It's a 0 out of 10.
Whoa, what the hell could make you think that?
This game brings in even politics and propaganda, trying to compensate for the quality. But keeping the political agenda does not fill the void of a well-done game.
Wait, are you even a fan of this series at all?
Yeah, I love the first two games, but this game got political. Aloy and lesbian, what are you doing, Sony and Gorilla? We live in a world of entertainment, not deviant and misguided ideas.
So, you like the series that has themes centered around critiquing the rich, talking about climate change, and advocating for cultural diversity and environmental activism, and yet you don't like this DLC because it's political?
Yes, there's an agenda now, spreading filth and rot, and the agenda of the Western world has become intolerable in games.
Oh, so you're one of those people. Oh, you're my favorite kind of person, you know? I just love to hang out and be friends with someone who spends their every waking moment of free time worrying about what's being put into video games and animated movies for children. I mean, you guys just know exactly how to spend your time in a valuable and productive way. I love it.
This DLC is pushing LGBT propaganda. I would not recommend it to kids and infants.
Infants? Well, man, I gotta say, that's the first thing you've said that I agree with. I definitely don't think infants should be playing this game or any other. I mean, they don't even have object permanence yet. So how are they gonna know when your dad left you?
I'd like to refute your arguments, Mr. Germany Ball.
Alright, what's your amazing counter that'll totally change my mind?
LGBT trash, LGBT trash, LGBT trash, LGBT trash, LGBT trash, LGBT trash.
You really are the absolute worst.
I know, aren't I just wonderful? Hey, how about I stick around until you change your mind on this game?
That sounds great and all, but did you hear they're making a Black Little Mermaid movie?
What? This cannot fly. Or swim, I guess. Alright, gotta go, unfortunately.
Well, if you ignore that moron, you'll be able to see that while the DLC feels slightly lacking in side content, it's absolutely worth the price of admission because it's just a phenomenal addition to a masterpiece of a game.
Gorgeous new visuals and creative landscapes, awesome battles with new machines, cool new mechanics and combat moves, and the best story I've ever seen in a game expansion.
Burning Shores gets an extremely impressive 4.5 out of 5. Truly, Guerrilla Games has outdone themselves once more.
You can even find an Easter egg with the bow from The Last of Us 2.
Did somebody say The Last of Us Part 2? I'm feeling a little homophobic up in here.
Oh, Mr. Metacritic, you really are the absolute worst. Can you just leave me alone? Why don't you go and, I don't know, go outside and crusade against Bud Light or something?
Oh, yeah, right. That's my latest outrage. Thanks for the reminder, Walter. But don't worry. Oh, we'll see each other again someday, partner.
Oh, God, I sure hope not. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully that guy never comes back again, and next time I'm going to be looking at another new game, The Legend of Zelda. There's a new Legend of Zelda. Holy crap!